Hello and welcome back to my 7 Days of Brave segments, in which I am talking about how to step through your fears when it comes to solo travel. And today I am out in a very chilly day in a square in Pristina, Kosovo, in which, as you see behind me, is a monument of has to do with brotherhood. It harkens back to the time in which Kosovo used to be part of the former Yugoslavia, so it was communist back then. And what I think is cool too about where I am right now is you can also see that there's a mosque behind me that shows you a little bit about the diversity that is in this region called the Balkans. But today, what I want to focus on, I think it's funny that people walk behind me who do not want to be on video. Like I said, live and unscripted. But anyways, today I want to talk about the question about where we kind of get stuck in the fact that we think maybe our trip needs to look like someone else's trip, right? We're all like, maybe the best way to explain this is, you've all heard of Eat, Pray, Love, right? I get lots of people who ask about that, who that's their point of reference of like, I want to create a trip that just completely transforms my life, just like it did Elizabeth Gilbert. And then sometimes we want, or we're tempted to recreate what someone else did to do their trip. Or we have a friend who went to France and they had such an amazing time, or they love Tuscany, and we think, okay, I should go to Tuscany because my friend says it's amazing. And I will really challenge you to push hard back on that and choose the trip that you want and need, and give yourself permission to do that. Pick the place. You can go back and listen to some of my other segments about how to choose a place, but allowing your trip to unfold in the way that you need it to unfold. And I know that for those of us who are Americans, we're really acculturated to going on this 2-week Odyssey trip in which we go see as many sites as possible within 14 days, and then we come home and then we're exhausted and we and we need another vacation, right? And so we often feel like we need to see all the sites and do all the things. And what I want to do is give you permission to consider what you need and what you want in this trip. And if you decide and you go to a place and you're like, oh man, this is a lovely city, I really am enjoying it, like, make the trip your own. Stay there. Why not stay there for 2 weeks? You can really get to know the people. You can get to know the cafes that you like. You can spend some time. I read a book recently where they talked about the idea of letting our body catch up with our soul. And so sometimes I think when we travel and we keep going and going really quickly, you know, our soul is struggling to catch up with our body. I think I said that backwards right before, did I? I told you I'm not going to edit these things. So anyways, but we're letting our soul catch up to where our body is, and I think that that's important. I'm a huge fan of slow travel. So if you're on a trip, whether it's a long-term or a short-term trip, and you're really loving a place, or you're feeling like, I know I was in Paris one time and I knew all the places people wanted me to see, like, make sure you see the Louvre, make sure you do this, you do that. But I was in the space during that trip in which I needed to walk a lot. I needed to wrestle with some things inside of me. And the last thing I really wanted to do at the time was wait in line and try to go to an art museum. So I walked and walked and walked, and I saw a ton of neighborhoods, probably neighborhoods that people may or may not normally even see when they go to Paris. But I needed to walk and I needed to be with myself. And so I gave myself permission to do that, even though afterwards people asked me, did you see this place? Did you see this place? And I had to say, well, actually, I didn't see that place. I did see the things that were important to me. But I do want to give you permission to make the trip your own, and not to get stuck in the fact that you need to make it look like someone else's, or that you need to make it this big, bold thing that's putting a lot of pressure on yourself to make it be transformational. Because I think transformation happens one day, one step at a time, and we just need to walk and step into it, and we can't calculate and make that happen. It happens as we allow ourselves to be with ourselves, to be for me, it happens as I allow myself each day to be with myself where I am. That's how my transformation happens. It doesn't happen by me going on a whirlwind trip and hoping that somehow an epiphany is going to drop into my head. It's really the day in, day out work of allowing yourself to be with yourself in the place that you are, to be in the places that you need to be, to feel the way that you need to feel at the time. So I hope this makes sense. I want you to just I think the bottom line is to give yourself permission to let your trip be what it needs to be and to unfold, and not to put undue pressure on picking the exact right place and for the exact right things to happen and for you to do the exact right things. So I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you again next.